A single father stood in his boss's office at midnight, about to confess that 5 men bet $500 he'd sleep with her, knowing the truth could destroy his daughter's only source of stability. But what terrified Nathan Cole more than losing his job was the 6 months he'd spent lying to himself about why he couldn't stop thinking about Miranda Hale. One honest sentence would either end his career or change his life forever. He chose honesty. Before we dive into Nathan's story, if you're watching from anywhere in the world, drop your city in the comments below. I want to see how far this story travels. And if you stay until the end, hit that like button. You won't regret it. Now, let's begin. The construction trailer shook every time the wind slammed against its aluminum walls. Rain hammered the roof like bullets, turning the Friday night into something that felt apocalyptic, or maybe just appropriate for what was about to happen. Nathan Cole sat in the corner, nursing a beer he hadn't wanted and didn't plan to finish. His work boots were caked with mud from the foundation pour that had run 4 hours overtime. His shoulders ached. His phone had 3 missed calls from his ex-wife about switching weekends again, and one text from his daughter Lily asking if he'd remembered to buy poster board for her school project. He'd forgotten. That's the kind of week it had been. Around the table, 5 supervisors from different crews laughed too loud, drank too fast, and threw money around like men who'd never had to choose between paying rent and buying groceries. Nathan recognized the type. He used to be one of them, back before the divorce, before sole custody, before every dollar had a name and a purpose. "Cole!" Derek Milhouse bellowed from across the table, his face red from whiskey and whatever bitterness he carried around like a second skin. "You're too quiet over there. Drink up." Nathan raised his bottle in acknowledgement but didn't drink. He'd learned that lesson the hard way. Never give men like Derek ammunition. Derek was a site supervisor for concrete work, 10 years older than Nathan, with the kind of ego that expanded to fill whatever room he occupied. He'd been gunning for Nathan since the day Nathan had reported safety violations on Derek's crew. The violations had been real: improper scaffolding, missing harnesses, shortcuts that could have killed someone, but Derek didn't care about that. He cared about being challenged. "I said drink up," Derek repeated, louder this time. The trailer went quiet. Even the rain seemed to pause. Nathan met Derek's eyes and took a deliberately small sip. Not enough to be respectful, just enough to make a point. Derek's jaw tightened. "You know what your problem is, Cole? You think you're better than the rest of us." Nathan set his beer down carefully. "I think I've got a 9-year-old waiting for me to call and say goodnight. That's what I think." "See?" Derek gestured around the table like he'd just proven a theorem. "Always the martyr. Always the perfect single dad." A few men shifted uncomfortably. Most of them had families too. They understood the balance Nathan walked every day. The guilt of missing bedtimes, the exhaustion of being everything to a kid who deserved 2 parents but only had one who showed up. But Derek wasn't finished. "I'll bet you $500, Derek said, pulling a wad of cash from his wallet and slapping it on the table, "that you won't do one thing that's not about being a dad. One thing that's just about you being a man." Nathan's stomach tightened. He knew where this was going. "I'll bet you $500, Derek continued, his smile turning cruel, "that you won't sleep with Miranda Hale." The trailer went silent again. But this time it was different. This time it was the silence of men watching a car crash in slow motion, unable to look away. Miranda Hale, Vice President of Development, the woman who could greenlight projects worth millions or cancel contracts with a single email, the woman who'd built her reputation on being brilliant, untouchable, and completely immune to the kind of workplace politics that destroyed lesser careers. The woman Nathan had been carefully, desperately, silently attracted to for 6 months. "That's enough," Nathan said quietly. "Oh, come on." Derek leaned back, spreading his arms wide. "Everyone knows you stare at her during site meetings. Everyone sees how you volunteer for every project she oversees. You're not subtle, Cole." Heck, heat crawled up Nathan's neck. Not from embarrassment, from anger. Because Derek wasn't wrong about the staring, about the volunteering. But he was wrong about why. Nathan didn't pursue Miranda because she was beautiful, though she was. Tall, sharp-featured, with dark hair she wore pulled back like she was always ready for battle. He didn't pursue her because she was powerful, though she was that too, commanding rooms full of men twice her age with nothing but competence and cold precision. He didn't pursue her because he was a single father whose entire life revolved around stability. And getting involved with your boss, especially one who could destroy your career, was the opposite of stable. But God, he wanted to. "What's wrong?" Derek taunted. "Not man enough?" Nathan stood. The legs of his chair scraped against the trailer floor. "I'm not doing this," Nathan said. "Because you're scared," Derek shot back. "Because you know a woman like that would never—" "Because it's disrespectful," Nathan interrupted, his voice cutting through the room like rebar through concrete. "To her. To this job. To myself." He grabbed his jacket and headed for the door. $500 says you don't have the balls," Derek shouted after him. Nathan stopped with his hand on the door handle. Rain pounded the metal roof above him. His phone buzzed in his pocket, probably Lily, wondering where her good-night call was. He should leave. He should go home, call his daughter, buy that poster board at the 24-hour drugstore, and forget this entire night ever happened. But something stopped him. Maybe it was 6 months of pretending he didn't feel what he felt. Maybe it was the way Miranda had looked at him last Tuesday during the budget meeting, holding his gaze 3 seconds longer than necessary when he'd challenged a cost overrun. Maybe it was exhaustion, of being careful, of being responsible, of always choosing the safe path because he had a daughter depending on him. Or maybe it was just that Derek was right about one thing. Nathan was tired of living a life where every decision was about fear. "I'll take your bet," Nathan heard himself say. The words didn't sound like they came from him. They sounded like they came from someone reckless, someone who didn't have a 9-year-old's future riding on every paycheck. Derek's grin was vicious. "Yeah? Yeah," Nathan said. "But not the way you think." He walked out into the rain before he could change his mind. The elevator to the executive floor was empty. Nathan stood in the fluorescent light, watching water drip from his jacket onto the polished floor. His reflection stared back at him from the stainless steel doors. A 34-year-old man who looked 40, with stubble he hadn't had time to shave and eyes that hadn't slept properly in years. What the hell was he doing? The elevator chimed. 9th floor. Miranda's office was at the end of the hall, past a row of dark conference rooms and empty desks. Through the glass walls, he could see her silhouette, still working at 10:30 on a Friday night, because that's who she was. Miranda Hale didn't leave early. She didn't take shortcuts. She didn't tolerate weakness in herself or anyone else. Nathan's hand hesitated on the door handle. He could still turn around. He could text Lily, apologize for being late, and pretend none of this had happened. But then Miranda looked up. Their eyes met through the glass, and Nathan saw something flicker across her face. Surprise, maybe, or recognition. Not the kind of recognition that came from seeing a subordinate. The kind that came from seeing someone you'd been thinking about when you thought no one was watching. Nathan pushed the door open. Miranda's office smelled like coffee and the faint citrus of whatever perfume she wore. The city sprawled beyond the windows behind her desk, lights glittering like scattered diamonds. She stood as he entered, and Nathan was struck again by how she commanded space, not through aggression, but through absolute certainty about her right to be there. "Nathan," she said. Not Cole. Nathan. That was the first sign that tonight was already different. "I need to tell you something," Nathan said, his voice rougher than he intended. "Something that might cost me this job." Miranda studied him with those dark, intelligent eyes that had probably dissected 1,000 proposals and found them wanting. She didn't tell him to sit, didn't tell him to leave, just waited with the patience of someone who'd learned that silence was often the best weapon. "There's a bet," Nathan continued. "Downstairs. $500 that I'll sleep with you." He watched for her reaction, anger, disgust, anything that would give him permission to leave and never speak of this again. Instead, Miranda walked around her desk with slow, measured steps. She wore slacks and a silk blouse that probably cost more than Nathan made in a week, and heels that brought her almost to his height. "And you came here to tell me," she said. It wasn't a question. "I came here because—" Nathan stopped, started again. "I came here because I've spent 6 months pretending I don't think about you. Pretending I don't look forward to site meetings just to hear you tear apart bad proposals. Pretending I don't stay late on purpose, hoping you'll still be working." The words tumbled out like water through a broken dam. I came here because that bet made me sick, Nathan said. Not because they said it, but because for about 3 seconds I considered taking it, and I hated myself for that. Miranda was close enough now that he could see the barely perceptible tension in her jaw, the way her fingers curled slightly at her sides. So I'm here to tell you the truth, Nathan finished. I came here despite the bet, not because of it, and if that cost me this job, then at least I'll know I was honest. The silence stretched between them like a high wire, dangerous and electric. What changed? Miranda asked quietly. 6 months, Nathan. Why now? Nathan laughed, bitter, exhausted. Because I'm tired. I'm tired of being careful. I'm tired of making every decision based on what's safe for Lily's future. I'm tired of what? Of wanting something I can't have, Nathan said, and pretending I don't. Miranda took one more step, close enough that Nathan could smell her perfume, could see the tiny scar above her left eyebrow that he'd always wondered about. You said you hated yourself for considering the bet, she said. Why? Because you're not a bet. You're not a prize. Nathan struggled for words that wouldn't sound inadequate. You're the smartest person in every room you walk into. You're terrifying and brilliant, and you don't take shortcuts and you don't suffer fools. And the idea that I would reduce you to some locker room dare made me want to punch Derek Milhouse and myself. Something shifted in Miranda's expression, a crack in the professional armor she wore like a second skin. I filed relationship disclosure paperwork with HR, she said. Nathan blinked. What? 3 days ago, Miranda continued, I filed preliminary relationship disclosure with HR, declaring my intent to pursue a personal relationship with a subordinate, pending that subordinate's freely given consent. Nathan's world tilted. Before tonight? Before tonight, Miranda confirmed. Before the bet. Before you walked in here. But why didn't you? Because I needed you to choose freely, Miranda said. Her voice was steady, but Nathan heard the tremor underneath, the vulnerability of someone who'd built walls so high she'd forgotten what it felt like to let someone in. I needed to know it wasn't about power, she continued. Not my power over your job. Not your fear of losing stability for your daughter. Not obligation or intimidation or any of the 1,000 things that make workplace relationships toxic. She reached up, and Nathan's breath caught as her fingers brushed his jaw, tentative, questioning. I needed to know it was real, Miranda whispered. Nathan covered her hand with his. Her skin was warm, her pulse visible at her wrist. I have a 9-year-old daughter, he said. I have sole custody. I work 60-hour weeks, and I'm always tired, and I can't remember the last time I did something spontaneous or irresponsible. I know, Miranda said. I'm not exciting. I'm not Nathan. She said his name like a command. I don't want exciting. I want honest. I want someone who shows up. I want... She didn't finish. Instead, she kissed him. It wasn't tentative. It wasn't careful. It was 6 months of restraint breaking all at once, her mouth against his with a hunger that matched his own. Nathan's hand found her waist, pulling her closer, and Miranda made a small sound that went straight through him. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Nathan pressed his forehead against hers. I'm still terrified, he admitted. Good, Miranda said. That means you're paying attention. Then her phone buzzed on the desk behind her. They both froze. Miranda pulled back, her professional mask sliding back into place with practiced ease. She checked the screen, and Nathan watched her expression change from soft to sharp in an instant. HR, she said. They want to see both of us, Monday morning, 8 a.m. Nathan's stomach dropped. How would they... Miranda turned her phone screen toward him. An email, sent 20 minutes ago. Attached was a video file with a thumbnail showing the inside of the construction trailer. Someone had recorded the bet. Nathan's blood turned to ice. Derek, he said. Or someone Derek convinced, Miranda said. Her voice was clinical now, distant. Either way, we have a problem. Nathan thought of Lily, of custody arrangements that depended on him maintaining stable employment, of his ex-wife who'd love nothing more than ammunition to renegotiate their agreement. I should go, he said. Nathan, no. He stepped back, putting distance between them. You filed that paperwork to protect yourself. I get it, but this, he gestured at the phone. This is different. This looks like I manipulated you. Like I'm. Stop, Miranda said sharply. Don't finish that sentence. But Nathan was already at the door. I'll handle it, he said. Monday morning. I'll tell them the truth. The truth is you came here to be honest, Miranda said. The truth is I filed paperwork before you ever walked through that door. The truth doesn't matter if no one believes it, Nathan said. He left before she could respond, before the warmth of her kiss could convince him to stay and make everything worse. In the elevator, his phone buzzed. A text from Lily. Dad, where are you? I need poster board for Monday. Nathan closed his eyes and let his head fall back against the elevator wall. One honest moment. That's all he'd wanted, and it might cost him everything. The weekend passed in a blur of poster board and paint, of Lily's school project spread across the kitchen table, of normalcy that felt like a lie. Nathan kept his phone close, waiting for the other shoe to drop. A call from HR, an email from Miranda, something that would tell him how bad Monday was going to be. Nothing came. Saturday afternoon, Lily looked up from her call about the solar system and asked, Are you okay, Dad? Nathan forced a smile. Why wouldn't I be? You keep checking your phone, she said. You only do that when you're worried about work. 9 years old, and she already knew him too well. Just a project thing, Nathan said. Nothing for you to worry about. Lily nodded, but her eyes said she didn't believe him. She'd learned not to push, though. That was one of the things the divorce had taught her, when to let things go. Nathan hated that she'd had to learn it. Sunday evening, after Lily was asleep, Nathan sat on his apartment balcony and stared at the city lights. Somewhere out there, Miranda was probably working, or worrying, or regretting Friday night entirely. He pulled up his phone and started typing a message. I'm sorry about Friday. I shouldn't have put you in that position. He deleted it. Whatever happens Monday, I don't regret being honest. Deleted that too. Finally, he just wrote, Thank you. He stared at it for 5 minutes before hitting send. 3 dots appeared almost immediately, then disappeared, then appeared again. Finally, a response. Don't thank me yet. Nathan didn't sleep that night. Monday morning felt like walking toward execution. Nathan wore the same work boots he always wore, the same jacket, the same thermos of coffee. He arrived 15 minutes early because being late would have been worse. The construction site was already buzzing with activity, crews gathering tools, supervisors shouting orders, the familiar chaos of a project in full swing. Except everyone stopped talking when Nathan walked past. Word had spread. Of course it had. This was a construction site. Gossip traveled faster than concrete set. Nathan kept his head down and headed for the office building. The elevator ride to HR felt endless. His hands were sweating. His heart hammered against his ribs like it was trying to escape. The HR office was on the 7th floor, all glass walls and uncomfortable chairs designed to make you confess to things you didn't do. Nathan checked in with the receptionist, a woman named Paula who'd always been friendly but now wouldn't meet his eyes. They're waiting for you, she said. Conference room B. Nathan nodded and walked down the hall, his boots loud against the polished floor. Miranda was already there. She sat on one side of a long conference table, her posture perfect, her expression unreadable. Across from her sat Jennifer Westbrook, the head of human resources, and Martin Chen, the company's legal counsel. This was worse than Nathan had imagined. Mr. Cole, Jennifer said, please sit. Nathan sat. Jennifer folded her hands on the table. We received a complaint this weekend, a video recording that suggests you engaged in inappropriate conduct regarding Ms. Hale. I can explain, Nathan started. Let me finish, Jennifer interrupted. The video shows several employees making what appears to be a bet involving you and Ms. Hale entering into a sexual relationship. She slid her laptop across the table. The video was already cued. Nathan watched himself in the trailer. Watched Derek make the bet. Watched himself, and this was the crucial part, say, I'll take your bet. The video ended there. Edited. perfectly edited to make Nathan look like he'd accepted a challenge to manipulate his superior. "This is a serious allegation," Martin said. "Sexual harassment, workplace misconduct, potential abuse of company resources." "That's not what happened," Nathan said. "Then please," Jennifer said, "explain what did happen." Nathan took a breath. This was it. The moment where he either saved himself or went down swinging. "Derek Millhouse has had it out for me since I reported safety violations on his crew 8 months ago," Nathan said. "Violations that could have gotten people killed. The bet was his way of retaliating." "That doesn't explain why you accepted," Martin pointed out. "I didn't accept the bet the way that video makes it look," Nathan said. "I went to Miss Hale's office to tell her about it, to warn her, because the idea of using her as part of some locker room dare made me sick." Jennifer glanced at Miranda. "Is this true?" "Yes," Miranda said. Her voice was steady, professional. "Mr. Cole came to my office Friday night and disclosed the bet. He made it clear he was there despite the bet, not because of it." "And can you prove that?" Martin asked. Miranda reached into her briefcase and pulled out a folder. "I filed preliminary relationship disclosure paperwork with HR on Tuesday, 3 days before the bet occurred." She slid the folder across the table. Jennifer opened it, read for a moment, then looked up sharply. "You filed this?" "Yes," Miranda said, "because I've been interested in pursuing a personal relationship with Mr. Cole for some time. I wanted to ensure that if anything developed, it would be completely above board." Martin leaned back in his chair, reassessing. "So you're saying this relationship is consensual," Miranda finished, "was initiated by me, through proper channels, before any of this occurred." Nathan stared at her. She wasn't just defending him, she was putting her career on the line. Jennifer closed the folder. "That changes things." "Does it?" Nathan asked. "Because that video is still out there, and people are still going to think—" "That video was recorded without consent," Miranda interrupted, "in a private conversation, and then edited to misrepresent the facts." Martin nodded slowly. "That's a violation of company policy, possibly illegal, depending on state recording laws." "I have more," Nathan said. He pulled out his phone and opened his Notes app. Screenshots of messages, time-stamped documentation of every interaction he'd had with Derek over the past 8 months. The safety violations, Derek's written warnings, the pattern of retaliation. "Derek has been gunning for me since day one," Nathan said. "This isn't about misconduct. This is about revenge." Jennifer and Martin exchanged a look. "We'll need to investigate further," Jennifer said finally. "Both of you are suspended pending review." Nathan's heart sank. Suspended meant no work. No work meant no paycheck. No paycheck meant with pay, Jennifer added. "And confidentially, no one outside this room needs to know the details." "It wasn't perfect, but it wasn't fired." "How long?" Nathan asked. "A week," Martin said. "Maybe 2. We need to interview everyone involved, review the footage, verify your documentation." Nathan nodded. He'd been prepared for worse. "One more thing," Miranda said. "If this investigation determines that Mr. Cole is being retaliated against for legitimate safety complaints, and if the company attempts to punish him anyway, I'll resign." The room went silent. Jennifer's eyebrows rose. "Ms. Hale—" "I'm not bluffing," Miranda said. "Nathan Cole is one of the most honest, dedicated employees this company has. If we punish integrity and reward retaliation, then this isn't a company I want to work for." Nathan's throat tightened. No one had ever fought for him like this. Not his ex-wife, not his family, no one. "Understood," Jennifer said carefully. "We'll be in touch." The meeting ended. Nathan and Miranda walked to the elevator in silence. When the doors closed and they were alone, Nathan finally spoke. "You didn't have to do that." "Yes," Miranda said. "I did." The elevator descended. Nathan watched the floor numbers drop. "What happens now?" he asked. Miranda looked at him, and for the first time that morning, her professional mask slipped. "Now we wait," she said. "And we trust that the truth matters." Nathan wanted to believe her. But he'd been through enough to know that the truth didn't always win. Sometimes the story people wanted to believe was stronger than the facts. The elevator doors opened to the lobby, and Nathan stepped out into a world that suddenly felt less certain than it had 72 hours ago. Behind him, Miranda called his name. He turned. "I meant what I said," Miranda told him. "Friday night. All of it." Nathan nodded. "So did I." "Then we'll get through this," Miranda said. Nathan walked out into the morning sun, pulled out his phone, and texted Lily's school to let them know he'd be picking her up today. Whatever happened next, his daughter came first. But for the first time in a long time, Nathan let himself hope that maybe, just maybe, he could have both. A life that was stable, and a life that was his. The week of suspension felt like living in limbo. Nathan spent Monday afternoon explaining to Lily why he was home early, crafting a careful lie about project delays that she seemed to accept but didn't quite believe. By Tuesday, the walls of his apartment felt like they were closing in. He cleaned the kitchen twice, reorganized his toolbox, and checked his phone every 15 minutes for updates that never came. Wednesday morning, his ex-wife called. "I heard you got suspended," Rachel said without preamble. No hello. No, "How are you?" Just straight to the accusation. Nathan's grip tightened on his phone. "How did you hear that?" "Does it matter?" Rachel's voice had that sharp edge she'd developed during the divorce proceedings, the one that turned every conversation into a cross-examination. "What matters is that you're not working, again." "It's paid suspension," Nathan said, keeping his voice level. "And it's temporary." "That's what you said about the last layoff." "That was 18 months ago. Different company. Different situation." "Same pattern," Rachel shot back. "You take risks. You make waves. And Lily's the one who suffers when things fall apart." Nathan walked to the window, watching construction crews work on a building across the street. Men with hard hats and purpose, doing the job he should be doing. "Lily's fine," Nathan said. "She's fed, she's clothed, she's doing well in school, she's happy." "For now," Rachel said. "But if you lose this job, I'm not going to lose this job." "You don't know that." Rachel paused, and Nathan could hear the calculation in her silence. "I think we need to revisit our custody arrangement." Nathan's blood went cold. "No." "Just temporarily," Rachel continued, her voice taking on that reasonable tone that was somehow more terrifying than her anger. "Until you're back on stable ground, Lily could stay with Marcus and me during the week, and you could have weekends." Marcus, her new husband, a pediatric surgeon who'd never missed a day of work in his life, who owned a house in the suburbs with a yard and a golden retriever and everything Nathan couldn't provide. "Lily stays with me," Nathan said. "That's not negotiable." "Nathan, be realistic." "I am being realistic. I have sole custody. The court gave me sole custody because I'm the parent who shows up. I'm the one who goes to parent-teacher conferences and stays up late helping with homework and remembers that she's allergic to strawberries. And you're also the one who just got suspended for workplace misconduct." The words hit like a punch to the gut. "It's not misconduct," Nathan said quietly. "It's retaliation. There's a difference." "Tell that to a judge," Rachel said. "Look, I'm not trying to take her away from you. I'm trying to help. But if you force my hand—" "Don't," Nathan interrupted. "Don't threaten me with custody. Not over this." Rachel sighed. "I'm giving you a week to figure this out. After that, I'm calling my lawyer." She hung up. Nathan stood at the window for a long time, watching the construction crews work, feeling the weight of everything he stood to lose pressing down on his chest like concrete. His phone buzzed. A text from Miranda. "How are you holding up?" Nathan stared at the message. 3 days ago, she'd kissed him. She'd filed paperwork to protect them both. She'd threatened to resign if the company came after him. And now his ex-wife was threatening to take his daughter. He typed and deleted 5 different responses before settling on managing. 3 dots appeared, disappeared, appeared again. "I know you're not. Can we talk?" Nathan hesitated. Every instinct told him to handle this alone, to not drag Miranda deeper into the mess his life was becoming, but he was tired of being alone. "Coffee?" he typed. "The place on 5th?" 20 minutes, Miranda replied. Nathan grabbed his jacket and headed out, leaving a note for Lily with the neighbor who sometimes watched her after school. The coffee shop was nearly empty on a Wednesday afternoon. Miranda was already there when Nathan arrived, sitting in a corner booth with 2 cups in front of her. She'd changed out of her usual work attire into jeans and a sweater that made her look younger, less intimidating. "Black coffee," she said as Nathan slid into the booth. "2 sugars. That's still right?" Nathan nodded, surprised she remembered. They'd only had coffee together twice before, both times in the company break room surrounded by other people. "You look terrible," Miranda said bluntly. "Thanks," Nathan said. "That's exactly what I needed to hear." "I meant you look stressed, not terrible. She paused. "Okay, you look a little terrible." Despite everything, Nathan almost smiled. "My ex-wife called," he said. "She wants to renegotiate custody." Miranda's expression hardened. "Because of the suspension? Because she thinks I'm unstable. Because she thinks Lily would be better off with her and her perfect surgeon husband in their perfect suburban house." "And what do you think?" Nathan looked down at his coffee. "I think she might be right." "Nathan? No, listen." He met Miranda's eyes. "I work 60-hour weeks when I'm employed. I live in a 2-bedroom apartment that's too small and too loud. I can't afford private school or music lessons or any of the things Rachel can give her, and now I'm suspended because I couldn't keep my personal life separate from work." "You're suspended because someone retaliated against you for doing the right thing," Miranda corrected. "That's not the same as failing your daughter." "Isn't it?" Nathan's voice was rough. "If I lose this job, I lose stability. If I lose stability, I lose Lily, and all because I couldn't stay away from you." The words came out harsher than he'd intended. Miranda flinched, just slightly. "I'm sorry," Nathan said immediately. I didn't mean it like that." "Yes, you did," Miranda said quietly. "And you're not entirely wrong." She wrapped her hands around her coffee cup, not drinking, just holding it like she needed something to anchor her. "When I filed that paperwork," Miranda continued, "I thought I was protecting us. I thought if everything was documented and legitimate, we'd be safe from exactly this kind of situation. But I didn't think about what it would mean for you, for your custody arrangement, for all the things you have to consider that I don't." "That's not your fault," Nathan said. "Isn't it?" Miranda echoed his earlier question. "I'm the VP. I have power in this company. I could have transferred you to a different project, a different supervisor. I could have kept my distance until after Derek was dealt with. But I was selfish. I wanted—" She stopped, looking out the window at the street beyond. "What did you want?" Nathan asked. Miranda turned back to him, and for the first time since he'd met her, she looked uncertain. "I wanted someone who saw me," she said. "Not the title, not the position, just me. And you did. You challenged me in meetings. You called me out when my proposals had holes in them. You treated me like a person who could be wrong. And that's—" She laughed softly. "That's rare. In my world, that's incredibly rare." Nathan understood what she wasn't saying, that loneliness came in different forms. His was the exhaustion of being everyone's foundation. Hers was the isolation of being everyone's superior. "I don't regret Friday night," Nathan said. "I need you to know that." "Even if it costs you custody?" "Even then," he paused. "But I can't let it cost me Lily. She has to come first." Miranda nodded slowly. "I understand." "Do you?" Nathan leaned forward. "Because I'm about to ask you to wait. Maybe for months, maybe longer. Until the investigation is over, until my custody situation is stable, until I can afford to have something in my life that's just for me." "And you think I can't wait?" Miranda asked. "I think you've been waiting," Nathan said, "for someone who puts you first, and I can't do that, not right now." The coffee shop was quiet except for the hiss of the espresso machine and the low murmur of conversation from the only other occupied table. Miranda studied Nathan with those sharp, analytical eyes that had probably dissected 1,000 business proposals. "My father died when I was 14, she said suddenly. "Heart attack, no warning. One day he was there, the next he wasn't." Nathan waited, unsure where this was going. "My mother fell apart," Miranda continued, "completely fell apart. I had 2 younger brothers, and someone had to keep things together. So I did. I made sure bills got paid. I made sure my brothers got to school. I made sure we didn't lose the house." She took a sip of her coffee. her hand steady now. For 4 years, I put everyone else first, Miranda said. I got scholarships for college because we couldn't afford tuition. I worked 2 jobs while studying engineering because my brothers needed clothes and food. I didn't date. I didn't have friends. I just survived. Miranda. Let me finish, she said gently. When I finally graduated, got my first real job, moved out on my own, I swore I'd never put myself last again. I built my career, I climbed the ladder, I made sure I had enough money and power that I'd never have to depend on anyone. She met Nathan's eyes. But somewhere along the way, I forgot how to connect with people, Miranda said. I forgot how to be vulnerable. I forgot what it felt like to want someone more than I wanted control. Nathan's throat was tight. So when you ask me to wait, Miranda continued, you're not asking me to put you first. You're asking me to remember what it feels like to care about someone else's well-being as much as my own. And honestly, that's not a burden. That's a relief. Nathan didn't know what to say. Every word felt inadequate compared to what she'd just shared. I can wait, Miranda said, as long as you need. But I need you to promise me something. What? Don't push me away because you think it's what I deserve, Miranda said. If you want to end this, end it because it's what you want. But don't make that choice for me. Nathan reached across the table and took her hand. Her skin was warm, her fingers slender and strong. I don't want to end this, he said. I want to figure out how to do this right. Miranda turned her hand over, lacing her fingers through his. Then we'll figure it out together, she said. They sat like that for a while, hands linked across the table, 2 people who'd spent so long building walls finally letting someone see what was behind them. Nathan's phone buzzed. He glanced at the screen, and his stomach dropped. HR, he said. They want to meet tomorrow morning. Miranda squeezed his hand once before letting go. Then we'll deal with it tomorrow. What if they fire me? Then I resign, Miranda said simply. I wasn't bluffing about that. You can't throw away your career for me. It's not for you, Miranda said. It's for principle. This company either values integrity or it doesn't. If it doesn't, I don't want to work here anyway. Nathan wanted to argue, to tell her she was being reckless, but he recognized the look in her eyes. It was the same stubborn determination he'd seen when she'd gone toe-to-toe with the CEO over budget allocations last quarter. Miranda Hale didn't bluff. Thank you, Nathan said quietly. Miranda stood, shouldering her bag. Don't thank me yet. We haven't won anything. Still, Nathan said, thank you for showing up. Something softened in Miranda's expression. She leaned down and pressed a quick kiss to his temple. Brief, chaste, but full of promise. That's what partners do, she said. They show up. Then she was gone, leaving Nathan alone with his coffee and the fragile hope that maybe, just maybe, things might actually work out. That night, after Lily was asleep, Nathan sat on his balcony and made a list. Not a to-do list. A truth list. Things he knew for certain. He was a good father. He'd reported legitimate safety violations. He'd been honest with Miranda and with HR. Derek had retaliated. The video was edited. Things he feared. Losing his job. Losing custody. Dragging Miranda down with him. Proving Rachel right about his instability. Things he wanted. To keep Lily. To keep his job. To see where things with Miranda could go. To stop being afraid. Nathan stared at that last one for a long time. The next morning, Nathan wore his best shirt, the one without any frayed collar, and his least scuffed boots. He dropped Lily off at school early, hugging her a little too long until she squirmed away with a laugh. Dad, you're being weird, she said. I'm allowed to be weird, Nathan told her. I'm your dad. It's in the job description. Is everything okay? Lily asked, her smile fading. With work? Nathan crouched down to her level. Everything's going to be fine, I promise. You said that before the divorce, Lily said quietly. The words hit Nathan like a sledgehammer. He'd forgotten how much kids remembered, how they cataloged every reassurance that turned out to be a lie. You're right, Nathan said. I did say that, and I was wrong. Lily blinked, surprised by his honesty. I can't promise everything will be perfect, Nathan continued. But I can promise that no matter what happens, you and I are okay. That part doesn't change. Understand? Lily nodded slowly. Then she hugged him, her small arms tight around his neck. "Don't be late for pickup," she whispered. "Never," Nathan said. He watched her walk into school, her backpack bouncing with each step, and felt the familiar weight of responsibility settle over his shoulders. Whatever happened in the next few hours, he had to make sure Lily's world stayed stable. The HR meeting was scheduled for 9. Nathan arrived at 8:45 and found Miranda already in the lobby, wearing a navy suit that made her look every inch the executive she was. "Ready?" she asked. "No," Nathan admitted. "You?" "Not even a little," Miranda said, "but we're doing it anyway." They rode the elevator up together in silence. Nathan's hands were sweating, his heart hammered against his ribs. Every worst-case scenario played through his mind on repeat. Jennifer Westbrook and Martin Chen were waiting in the same conference room as before. But this time there was a third person, a man Nathan didn't recognize, older, with steel gray hair and the kind of bearing that suggested he was used to being the most important person in any room. "Mr. Cole, Miss Hale," Jennifer said. "This is Richard Vaughn, our Chief Operating Officer." Nathan's stomach sank. The COO. This was either very good or catastrophically bad. "Please sit," Vaughn said. His voice was measured, giving nothing away. They sat. Vaughn opened a folder in front of him. "We've completed our investigation into the incident from last Friday. I wanted to deliver our findings personally." Nathan forced himself to breathe. In, out, in, out. "First," Vaughn said, "the video recording was made without consent and subsequently edited to misrepresent the facts. This violates company policy and potentially state recording laws. The employee responsible has been terminated." Derek. They'd fired Derek. Nathan felt a rush of relief so intense it was almost dizzying. "Second," Vaughn continued, "we've reviewed Mr. Cole's documentation regarding safety violations and the pattern of retaliation. The claims are substantiated. We should have addressed this 8 months ago. That's a failure on our part." Jennifer shifted uncomfortably. "Third," Vaughn said, looking directly at Miranda, "your preliminary relationship disclosure was filed in accordance with company policy and before any of the events in question. There's no evidence of misconduct on either of your parts." Miranda's expression remained neutral, but Nathan saw her shoulders relax fractionally. "However," Vaughn said, and Nathan's brief relief evaporated, "we need to address the appearance of impropriety. Ms. Hale, you're Mr. Cole's superior. That creates a power dynamic that, even with proper documentation, could be problematic." "I understand," Miranda said. "I'm prepared to recuse myself from any decisions involving Mr. Cole's employment." "That's not sufficient," Vaughn said. "We need a more permanent solution." Nathan's hands clenched under the table. Here it came. The ultimatum. Choose the job or choose each other. "We're offering Mr. Cole a promotion," Vaughn said. Nathan blinked. "I'm sorry, what?" "A promotion," Vaughn repeated. "Project manager, different division. You'd report to James Harrison instead of Ms. Hale. Same salary grade, better benefits, and it removes the direct reporting relationship that's causing complications." Nathan stared at him, unable to process what he was hearing. "I don't understand," Nathan said. "You're promoting me?" "You reported safety violations that could have prevented serious injuries or deaths," Vaughn said. "You maintained professional integrity under pressure. And you've consistently delivered quality work. Those are exactly the qualities we want in our project managers." Martin slid a folder across the table. "The offer is detailed here. You don't have to decide today, but we'd like an answer by next week." Nathan opened the folder with shaking hands. The salary was the same, but the benefits, health insurance, retirement matching, education assistance, were significantly better. This wasn't just a lateral move. This was stability. This was everything he needed to keep Lily. "There's one condition," Vaughn added. Of course there was. "Both of you need to complete our updated workplace relationship training," Vaughn said. "It's a new program we're rolling out company-wide, but you'll be in the first cohort. It covers boundaries, disclosure requirements, conflict of interest protocols, all the things that will help you navigate this appropriately." "That's reasonable," Miranda said. "Agreed," Nathan managed. Vaughn stood, extending his hand. "Welcome to the management team, Mr. Cole, assuming you accept." Nathan shook his hand, still feeling like he'd stepped into an alternate universe. "I accept," Nathan said. "Thank you." The meeting ended. Nathan and Miranda walked to the elevator in a daze. When the doors closed, Miranda turned to him, and Nathan saw tears in her eyes. "You're crying," he said, stunned. "I don't cry," Miranda said, wiping at her eyes roughly. This is allergies." "It's January," Nathan pointed out. "Shut up," Miranda said, but she was laughing. Actually laughing, the sound bright and genuine and completely at odds with her usual controlled composure. Nathan pulled her into a hug, and Miranda buried her face against his shoulder. "We did it," she said, her voice muffled. "We actually did it." "You did it," Nathan corrected. "That paperwork you filed, that's what saved us." "We did it together," Miranda insisted. She pulled back, looking up at him. "That's what this is going to be, Nathan. Together. Not you protecting me, not me protecting you. Both of us, figuring it out as we go." Nathan kissed her. Right there in the elevator, with security cameras probably recording and colleagues potentially waiting on the next floor. He kissed her like a man who'd been holding his breath for 6 months and finally remembered how to breathe. The elevator dinged. They broke apart just as the doors opened on the lobby. Nathan's phone buzzed. A text from Rachel. "We need to talk. Tonight." The brief joy evaporated. Nathan showed Miranda the screen. "Do you want me to come with you?" Miranda asked. "No," Nathan said. "This is something I need to handle alone." Miranda nodded. "Call me after?" "Promise," Nathan said. That evening, Nathan met Rachel at a coffee shop near her house. She arrived with Marcus because of course she did, presenting a united front, showing Nathan what a real partnership looked like. "I heard you got promoted," Rachel said without preamble. Nathan wondered how she'd found out so fast, then realized it didn't matter. Rachel had always been good at gathering intelligence. "I did," Nathan confirmed. "And the suspension?" "Resolved. I'm cleared of any wrongdoing." Rachel exchanged a look with Marcus. Nathan couldn't read it. "That's good," Rachel said carefully. "That's really good, Nathan." "So you're not calling your lawyer?" Nathan asked. Rachel had the grace to look embarrassed. "I may have overreacted. The suspension scared me. You thought I was going to fail," Nathan finished. "Again." "That's not fair," Marcus interjected. "Rachel just wants what's best for Lily." "So do I," Nathan said, his voice hard. "I have always wanted what's best for Lily. That's why I work 60-hour weeks. That's why I report for pickup 15 minutes early. That's why I remember her strawberry allergy and her favorite books and which teacher she doesn't like." "We know," Rachel said quietly. "Do you?" Nathan leaned forward. "Because every time something goes wrong, your first instinct is to take her away from me. Like I'm some kind of risk that needs to be managed." "You are a risk," Rachel said. "You take chances. You make waves. I stand up for what's right," Nathan interrupted. "I reported safety violations that could have killed someone. I refused to participate in workplace harassment. And yes, I'm dating someone I work with, but I did it the right way. I followed the rules. I protected everyone involved." "You're dating someone?" Rachel's eyebrows shot up. Nathan realized he'd said too much, but he was too tired to care. "Yes," he said. "Someone who treats me like a partner instead of a problem to be solved." The words hung in the air like an accusation. Marcus cleared his throat. "Maybe we should—" "No," Rachel said. She was looking at Nathan with something that might have been respect. "No, he's right. I've been treating him like he's irresponsible when he's actually just different. From me. From us." "Different how?" Nathan asked. "You lead with your heart," Rachel said. "Even when it's risky. Even when it might hurt you. You always have." She paused. "That's why I fell in love with you, and it's why I couldn't stay married to you. Because I couldn't handle the constant uncertainty." It was the most honest thing Rachel had said to him since the divorce. "But Lily needs that," Rachel continued. "She needs someone who shows her it's okay to care, even when it's scary. I can't teach her that. I'm too careful." Nathan didn't know what to say. "Keep doing what you're doing," Rachel said. "Keep showing up for her. Keep being the dad who remembers everything and tries too hard and loves too much." She smiled sadly. Just maybe text me when you get promoted so I don't have a panic attack thinking you're unemployed again. Deal, Nathan said. They parted ways amicably, and Nathan sat in his car for a long time, processing what had just happened. His ex-wife had just given him permission to be himself, to stop apologizing for caring too much. He called Miranda. "How did it go?" she asked. "Better than expected," Nathan said. "She's backing off the custody thing." "That's wonderful," Miranda said, and Nathan could hear the genuine relief in her voice. "She told me I led with my heart," Nathan continued, "like it was a good thing." "It is a good thing," Miranda said softly. "It's my favorite thing about you." Nathan smiled. "What are you doing right now?" "Working," Miranda admitted, "reviewing proposals for the Riverside project." "Want company?" Nathan asked. "Always," Miranda said, "but only if you bring coffee." "I can do that," Nathan said. He stopped at the coffee shop, ordered 2 black coffees with 2 sugars each, and drove to Miranda's place for the first time. She lived in a high-rise downtown, the kind of building with a doorman and an elevator that required a key card. Her apartment was exactly what he expected, modern, minimal, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. But there were also small touches that surprised him. Books stacked on every surface, a guitar in the corner, photos of 2 young men who must be her brothers. "They're in college now," Miranda said, following his gaze. "Full scholarships, both of them." "You did that," Nathan said. "We all did it," Miranda corrected, but she smiled. They worked side by side for hours, Miranda at her laptop and Nathan reading through his new job offer. Around midnight, Nathan looked up to find Miranda watching him. "What?" he asked. "I'm just thinking," Miranda said, "about how strange this is." "Strange how?" "A week ago, I thought telling you how I felt might cost me everything," Miranda said. "And now you're sitting in my apartment drinking coffee and reading contracts like this is the most normal thing in the world." "Is it?" Nathan asked. "Normal?" "No," Miranda said. "But maybe that's okay. Maybe normal is overrated." Nathan set aside his papers and moved to sit beside her on the couch. Miranda immediately curled into him, her head resting on his shoulder. "My daughter wants to meet you," Nathan said. "Eventually, when things are more settled." "I'd like that," Miranda said. "I'm good with kids. My brothers used to say I was the fun one." "You? Fun?" Miranda elbowed him lightly. "I know how to have fun." "Prove it," Nathan challenged. Miranda sat up, a mischievous glint in her eye that Nathan had never seen before. She grabbed her phone and pulled up a playlist. Music filled the apartment, something upbeat and completely inappropriate for midnight on a Thursday. "Dance with me," Miranda said. "I don't dance," Nathan protested. "Liar," Miranda said. "I saw you at the company holiday party. You danced with the receptionist." "That was different." She asked. "I'm asking," Miranda said, pulling him to his feet. They danced in her living room with the city lights spread out below them, and Nathan realized he'd been wrong about so many things. About what he deserved, about what was possible, about what it meant to let someone in. When the song ended, they stood there swaying, foreheads pressed together. "I'm scared," Nathan admitted, "of messing this up." "Good," Miranda said. "That means you're paying attention." "Is that your answer for everything?" "It's worked so far," Miranda said. Nathan laughed and Miranda kissed him, and for the first time in longer than he could remember, Nathan felt like he was exactly where he was supposed to be. Not because everything was perfect, but because he'd finally stopped running from the things that made him afraid. Nathan woke up on Miranda's couch at 6 in the morning, his neck stiff and his arm numb where she'd fallen asleep against him. Dawn light filtered through the floor-to-ceiling windows, painting the city in shades of gold and amber. For a moment, he just watched her sleep, this woman who'd risked her career for him, who'd filed paperwork 3 days before he'd even had the courage to walk into her office. Miranda's eyes opened, immediately alert despite the early hour. "You're staring," she murmured. "You snore," Nathan countered. "I do not." Miranda sat up, running her fingers through her hair. "That's a vicious lie." "It's cute," Nathan said, like a very small, very dignified chainsaw. Miranda threw a pillow at him, but she was smiling. Then her expression shifted, becoming more serious. "You need to go home," she said. before Lily wakes up and wonders where you are. Nathan checked his phone. 6:15. Lily would be up in 45 minutes, expecting breakfast and her dad to braid her hair the way he did every Friday. Yeah, Nathan said, standing. Every muscle in his body protested sleeping on a couch. I should go. Miranda walked him to the door, still in the oversized shirt she'd changed into the night before. At the threshold, she caught his hand. Nathan, she said. About meeting Lily. I meant what I said. I want to, but only when you're ready. I know, Nathan said. I just need to figure out how to explain you. Explain me how? You're my boss who became my girlfriend after someone bet me $500 to sleep with you, Nathan said. That's not exactly a story I can tell a 9-year-old. Miranda laughed, the sound warm and unguarded. Fair point. How about this? You tell her I'm someone you work with who became a friend. We can complicate it later. You want to be demoted to friend? Nathan asked. I want to be whatever makes this easier for you and Lily, Miranda said. I'm patient, remember? Nathan kissed her once, quick and sweet, then headed home. The apartment smelled like morning, coffee from the timer he'd set the night before, and the faint scent of the lavender detergent he used on Lily's sheets. Nathan made scrambled eggs and toast, set out Lily's favorite cereal as backup, and had just finished braiding her hair when his phone rang. James Harrison, his new boss. Cole? Harrison's voice was gruff but not unkind. Welcome to the team. I wanted to touch base before your official start date, Monday. Thank you, sir, Nathan said, stepping into the hallway so Lily wouldn't overhear. I appreciate the opportunity. Don't thank me yet, Harrison said. I'm throwing you into the deep end. The Riverside project is behind schedule and over budget. Previous project manager quit last week. It's yours if you want it. Nathan's pulse quickened. Riverside was the biggest commercial development the company had undertaken in 5 years. It was also notoriously complicated. Multiple stakeholders, tight deadlines, and a neighborhood association that fought every permit. I want it, Nathan said. Good, Harrison said, because Miranda Hale specifically recommended you for it. Said you were the only person she'd trust to get it back on track. Nathan's chest tightened. Miranda had done that. Had put his name forward for the most challenging project in the company, backing him with her reputation. I won't let you down, Nathan said. See that you don't, Harrison said. First team meeting is Monday at 7. Don't be late. He hung up. Nathan stood in the hallway, staring at his phone, feeling the weight of what had just happened. This was it, the real test. Everything he'd fought for, his job, his credibility, his future with Miranda, hinged on whether he could deliver on this project. Dad? Lily called from the kitchen. Are you okay? Nathan walked back in, forcing his expression into something calm. I'm great, sweetheart. Just work stuff. Good work stuff or bad work stuff? Lily asked, her fork hovering over her eggs. Good, Nathan said. Really good. Lily studied him with those two perceptive eyes that missed nothing. You seem different lately. Different how? Less tired, Lily said. You smile more. Nathan's throat tightened. He hadn't realized she'd noticed, hadn't realized how much of his stress he'd been carrying where she could see it. Things are getting better, Nathan said carefully. Work is good. We're stable. And I met someone who makes me happy. Lily's eyes widened. Like a girlfriend? Nathan hesitated. They'd never had this conversation before. After the divorce, he'd been so focused on being both parents that the idea of dating had seemed impossible, selfish even. Yeah, Nathan said. Like a girlfriend. Is that okay? Lily was quiet for a moment, pushing eggs around her plate. Does she make you happy? Like really happy? Not just pretend happy? Really happy, Nathan said. Then it's okay, Lily said simply. But I want to meet her, to make sure she's nice. Nathan smiled. Deal. But not yet. I want to make sure it's serious first. Is it serious? Lily asked. Nathan thought about Miranda filing paperwork before he'd even confessed his feelings, about her threatening to quit if the company came after him, about dancing in her living room at midnight like teenagers who'd never learned to be careful. Yeah, Nathan said. I think it might be. Lily nodded, satisfied. Okay. But if she's mean to you, I'm going to karate chop her. You don't know karate, Nathan pointed out. I'll learn, Lily said seriously. Nathan laughed and pulled her into a hug, this fierce little person who'd become his entire world. The weekend passed in a blur of normal: grocery shopping, homework help, a birthday party for one of Lily's classmates that involved too much sugar and not enough supervision. Nathan checked his phone obsessively, reading and rereading the project files Harrison had sent over. The Riverside development was even more complicated than he'd thought. The previous project manager had left notes that were barely coherent, the budget was hemorrhaging money, and the timeline was impossible. Saturday night, after Lily was asleep, Nathan called Miranda. "Tell me the truth," he said without preamble. "How bad is Riverside?" "Bad," Miranda admitted, "but not unfixable. The foundation is solid. The permits are in place. The problems are all management and communication. That's your strength." "My strength is making sure concrete gets poured correctly," Nathan said, "not managing a $20 million project." "Your strength is seeing what needs to be done and doing it," Miranda corrected, "whether that's reporting safety violations or stepping up when someone needs help. This is the same thing, just bigger." "What if I fail?" Nathan asked quietly. "Then you fail," Miranda said, "and you get up and try again. But you won't fail, Nathan. I wouldn't have recommended you if I thought you would." "You have a lot of faith in me," Nathan said. "I have the appropriate amount of faith in you," Miranda said, "which is to say, a lot. Now stop catastrophizing and go to sleep. You need to be sharp Monday." "Yes, ma'am," Nathan said. "Don't call me ma'am," Miranda said. "It makes me feel ancient." "You're 36, Nathan said. "That's not ancient." "Tell that to my knees when I try to run more than 3 miles, Miranda said. "Or my back when I sleep wrong, or—" "You're very sexy when you complain about aging," Nathan interrupted. Miranda laughed. "Go to sleep, Cole." "Good night, Miranda." "Good night," she said softly. Then, just before hanging up, "I'm proud of you." The words settled into Nathan's chest like warmth, like light, like something he'd been missing without knowing it. Monday morning arrived too fast and not fast enough. Nathan dropped Lily at school, drove to the office, and walked into the conference room at 6:55. The Riverside team was already there, 8 people who looked varying degrees of exhausted, frustrated, and suspicious of the new project manager who'd appeared out of nowhere. James Harrison sat at the head of the table, his expression unreadable. "Team," Harrison said, "this is Nathan Cole, your new project manager. Cole, this is your team. Play nice." Harrison left. Nathan stood at the front of the room, looking at 8 pairs of eyes that ranged from openly hostile to cautiously optimistic. He recognized a few faces from other projects: Sarah Chen from Permits, Marcus Rodriguez from Electrical, Jennifer Kim from the architectural side. "Okay," Nathan said. "Let's start with honesty. This project is a mess. The previous manager left it in shambles. We're behind schedule, over budget, and according to these notes, the neighborhood association hates us." A few people shifted uncomfortably. "But here's what I know," Nathan continued. "Every single person in this room is good at their job. The foundation work is solid. The permits are in place. The design is sound. The problems aren't structural. They're organizational." "So what's your plan?" Marcus asked, his tone challenging. "My plan is to listen," Nathan said. "I've been on this team for exactly 10 minutes. I don't know what the real problems are yet, but you do. So I'm asking, what's actually broken here?" Silence. Then Sarah spoke up. "Communication. The last PM didn't tell anyone anything. We'd show up and find out plans had changed or budgets had been reallocated or permits had been modified. We were always 3 steps behind." "Okay," Nathan said, writing on the whiteboard. "Communication. What else?" "Timeline's impossible," Marcus said. "We're supposed to finish phase 1 in 6 weeks. There's no way. Not with the delays we've already had." "So we need a realistic timeline," Nathan said. "What else?" Jennifer raised her hand hesitantly. "The neighborhood association. They're not wrong to be upset. The previous PM promised them updates and never delivered. They feel ignored." "Community relations," Nathan wrote. "Anything else?" "Budget transparency," someone else called out. We don't know where the money's going, makes it hard to plan. For the next hour, they mapped out every problem, every frustration, every broken promise that had brought the project to its knees. Nathan wrote it all down, asked questions, pushed back when something didn't make sense. Finally, he stepped back and looked at the whiteboard. "This is fixable," he said. "All of it. But it requires everyone in this room to be honest with me and with each other. No more surprises. No more working in silos. We're a team. We succeed or fail together." He turned back to them. "I know some of you are wondering why Harrison picked me. I'm wondering that too. But I can tell you this. I've never walked away from a project even when it was hard, even when it would have been easier to quit. And I'm not starting now." Something shifted in the room. Not quite trust, but the possibility of it. "We meet every Monday and Thursday," Nathan said. "Those meetings are sacred. Show up, speak up, and if something's going wrong, I want to know about it immediately, not when it's too late to fix." "What about the neighborhood association?" Jennifer asked. "I'm meeting with them Wednesday," Nathan said. "I want Sarah and Jennifer with me. We're going to listen to their concerns and actually address them." Sarah nodded, looking surprised. "One more thing," Nathan said. "We're going to succeed on this project. Not just finish it. Succeed. That means on time, under budget, and with a community that's proud of what we built. I don't accept anything less." The meeting ended. As people filed out, Marcus stopped by Nathan's chair. "That was a good speech," Marcus said. "But speeches don't pour concrete or run electrical. Actions do." "You're right," Nathan said. "So judge me on my actions." Marcus nodded slowly. "Fair enough." The first week was brutal. Nathan arrived before dawn and left after dark, learning every detail of the Riverside project, fixing the previous manager's mistakes, rebuilding relationships with subcontractors who'd been burned by broken promises. He barely saw Lily except for rushed breakfasts and distracted dinners. Wednesday's meeting with the neighborhood association was tense. 25 residents packed into a community center, armed with complaints and prepared for another round of corporate double talk. Nathan didn't give them double talk. "You're right to be angry," he said. "The previous project manager made promises he didn't keep. He treated you like obstacles instead of partners. That was wrong, and I'm here to do better." A woman in the front row crossed her arms. "We've heard that before." "I'm sure you have," Nathan said. "So here's what I'm proposing: monthly updates, open door policy. You have concerns, you call me directly. We're building in your neighborhood. You deserve to know what's happening." "What about the park?" someone called from the back. "We were promised green space. Now we're hearing it got cut." Nathan pulled up the plans on his laptop. "It got reduced, not cut. Previous budget overruns meant scaling back, but Sarah here has been working with the city on alternative funding. If we can get a grant approved, the park gets built to original specs." "And if the grant doesn't come through?" the woman asked. "Then we build a smaller park with our existing budget," Nathan said. "But either way, there will be green space. That's a commitment." The meeting lasted 2 hours. By the end, the neighborhood association hadn't forgiven the company, but they were willing to give Nathan a chance. "You're either really good at this or really good at lying," the woman from the front row said as people filed out. "I'm really bad at lying," Nathan said. "Ask anyone who's ever played poker with me." She almost smiled. "We'll be watching, Mr. Cole." "I'm counting on it," Nathan said. Thursday night, Nathan finally had a chance to breathe. He picked up Lily from school, made her favorite dinner, spaghetti with the sauce from a jar she insisted tasted better than homemade, and listened to her talk about a boy in her class who'd tried to trade his fruit snacks for her cookies. "Did you trade?" Nathan asked. "No," Lily said. "His fruit snacks were the gross grape ones. I told him to try again with strawberry." "Smart negotiating," Nathan said. "I learned from watching you," Lily said. "You always say don't accept the first offer." Nathan felt a surge of pride mixed with something deeper, the realization that his daughter was watching, learning, building herself from the pieces of who he was. His phone buzzed, a text from Miranda. "How's your first week?" Nathan typed back, "Surviving. Barely." "Want to celebrate surviving with dinner tomorrow?" "My place." Nathan hesitated. Tomorrow was Friday. He always spent Friday nights with Lily. It was their tradition, movie and popcorn, just the two of them. But Lily was watching him, reading his expression the way she always did. Is that your girlfriend? She asked. Nathan set down his phone. Yeah, she wants to have dinner tomorrow. You should go, Lily said. I don't want to miss movie night, Nathan said. Dad? Lily rolled her eyes in that way that made her seem much older than 9. I'll be fine. Mom keeps saying I can stay with her more anyway. I'll call her. You sure? Nathan asked. I'm sure, Lily said, but I still want to meet her. Soon. Soon, Nathan promised. Friday evening, Nathan stood outside Miranda's apartment building with a bottle of wine he'd agonized over for 20 minutes at the store and a bouquet of flowers that felt simultaneously too much and not enough. The doorman recognized him this time, waving him through with a knowing smile that made Nathan's ears burn. Miranda answered the door in jeans and a soft sweater, her hair down and her feet bare. She looked younger like this, less like the executive who commanded boardrooms and more like someone who might actually let her guard down. You brought flowers, she said. Is that weird? Nathan asked. It's weird, isn't it? It's sweet, Miranda said, taking them. No one's brought me flowers in years. She led him inside and Nathan noticed the small changes since his last visit. Photos on the bookshelf, one of Miranda with her brothers, all 3 of them laughing. A blanket thrown over the back of the couch. The guitar that had been in the corner was now propped against the wall with music sheets scattered nearby. You play? Nathan asked, nodding toward the guitar. Used to, Miranda said from the kitchen where she was arranging the flowers in a vase. Haven't had time in years. Play something, Nathan said. Now? Miranda laughed. I'm rusty. I don't care, Nathan said. I want to hear you. Miranda studied him for a moment, then picked up the guitar. Her fingers moved over the strings, tentative at first, then gaining confidence. The melody was haunting, something classical that Nathan didn't recognize but felt in his chest. When she finished, Nathan just stared. What? Miranda asked, self-conscious. I'm just thinking, Nathan said, about all the versions of you I keep discovering. The executive, the girl who raised her brothers, the woman who dances in her living room, and now this. This? Miranda set down the guitar. Someone who makes beautiful things when she thinks no one's watching, Nathan said. Miranda's expression softened. She crossed the room and kissed him, slow and deliberate, like they had all the time in the world. Dinner was simple, pasta and salad, wine that was probably too expensive for Nathan's budget, but perfect for the moment. They ate on the couch with plates balanced on their laps, talking about everything and nothing. Miranda told him about her week, budget meetings and contractor disputes and the small victory of getting a project approved that she'd been fighting for months. Nathan told her about Riverside, about the neighborhood association, about his team slowly learning to trust him. They're lucky to have you, Miranda said. You recommended me, Nathan pointed out. You're biased. I recommended you because you're the best person for the job, Miranda said. The fact that I'm also sleeping with you is just a bonus. Nathan laughed. Is that what we're calling this? Sleeping together? What would you call it? Miranda asked. Nathan considered. Terrifying. Wonderful. The best bad decision I've ever made. It's not a bad decision, Miranda said. We work for the same company, Nathan said. We have to do relationship training together. Your reputation is on the line every time someone sees us together. And yet, Miranda said, here we are. Here we are, Nathan echoed. They moved to the windows, looking out over the city. Nathan could see the Riverside construction site from here, cranes silhouetted against the night sky. Lily wants to meet you, Nathan said. Miranda went still. Yeah? She figured it out, Nathan said. Told me you must be nice if you make me smile more. Perceptive kid, Miranda said. Terrifying kid, Nathan corrected. She threatened to karate chop you if you're mean to me. She doesn't know karate, does she? Miranda asked. Not yet, Nathan said, but she's determined. Miranda laughed, the sound warm against Nathan's shoulder where she'd rested her head. I want to meet her too, Miranda said, but only when you're ready. There's no rush. What if she doesn't like you? Nathan asked quietly. Then I'll work on it, Miranda said simply, just like everything else worth having. They stood there for a long time, watching the city lights flicker and fade, Two people who'd spent so long protecting themselves, finally learning what it meant to be vulnerable. Nathan's phone buzzed. A text from Lily, sent from Rachel's house. Having fun with Mom and Marcus. You better be having fun too. Nathan smiled and showed Miranda the screen. She's checking up on you, Miranda said. She's giving me permission, Nathan corrected. There's a difference. Miranda pulled him away from the window, back to the couch, back to the space they were carving out together, despite all the reasons it should be impossible. Stay, Miranda said. Not a question. An invitation. Nathan thought about all the reasons he should leave, about work on Monday, about maintaining appropriate boundaries, about all the careful rules he'd built to keep his life stable. Then he thought about what Lily had said, about him smiling more, about being happy instead of just surviving. Okay, Nathan said. I'll stay. That night, lying beside Miranda in the dark, Nathan felt something shift. Not the dramatic kind of shift that came with grand gestures or life-changing decisions, just the quiet recognition that he was exactly where he wanted to be. His phone lit up on the nightstand, an email from Harrison. Cole, saw the Neighborhood Association meeting notes. Well done. Keep it up. J.H. Nathan showed it to Miranda, and she smiled against his shoulder. Told you, she murmured, already half asleep. You're very smug when you're right, Nathan said. I'm right a lot, Miranda said. You better get used to it. Nathan kissed her temple and closed his eyes, letting the unfamiliar feeling of contentment wash over him. For years, he'd defined success as stability, as keeping his head above water, as being enough for Lily even when he felt like he was failing. But maybe success wasn't just about surviving. Maybe it was about building something worth keeping, something that chose him back. The morning light through Miranda's windows woke Nathan before his alarm. He'd slept better than he had in months, curled against Miranda's warmth, and for a few perfect seconds, he let himself just exist in that space without thinking about everything waiting for him outside this room. Then his phone buzzed with a text from Lily. Dad, when are you coming home? I made pancakes with Mom, but they're not as good as yours. Nathan smiled and typed back, On my way soon. Save me one. Too late I ate them all, Lily responded, followed by 3 laughing emojis. Miranda stirred beside him, her eyes opening slowly. You're smiling at your phone. That's either very good or I should be worried. Lily ate all the pancakes, Nathan said, showing her the text. Sounds like my kind of kid, Miranda said. She stretched, cat-like, then seemed to remember something. What time is it? 7:30, Nathan said. I have a site inspection at 9, Miranda said, suddenly alert. For the harbor project, and you probably need to get home. They moved around each other in the morning light, falling into an easy rhythm that felt simultaneously brand new and comfortingly familiar. Miranda made coffee while Nathan borrowed her shower. When he emerged, she'd laid out a clean shirt that was obviously hers, but fit him well enough. Keep it, she said when he tried to protest. Looks better on you anyway. Nathan drove home with the windows down despite the winter chill, feeling lighter than he had in years. The city looked different in morning light, full of possibility instead of obstacles. He was still riding that feeling when he walked into his apartment and found Lily and Rachel waiting for him. His ex-wife sat at his kitchen table like she still belonged there, her expression carefully neutral. Lily bounced up from the couch, talking before Nathan could even close the door. Mom brought me home early because she wants to talk to you, Lily said. She says it's important but won't tell me what. Is everything okay? Nathan looked at Rachel, reading the tension in her shoulders. Why don't you grab your tablet and give us a few minutes, sweetheart? Lily looked between them, clearly wanting to argue, but Nathan's tone left no room for negotiation. She grabbed her tablet and disappeared into her bedroom, closing the door with just enough force to make her feelings known. What's going on? Nathan asked, keeping his voice low. Rachel stood, wrapping her arms around herself. I got a call from my lawyer yesterday. Just a routine check-in about the custody agreement, and she mentioned something interesting. Nathan's stomach tightened. What? That there's been some activity at your company, Rachel said. An investigation involving you and a superior. She wanted to know if it would affect the custody arrangement. How would your lawyer know about that? Nathan asked, his voice harder than he intended. Small legal community, Rachel said. Word gets around. especially when it involves workplace harassment allegations. There were no harassment allegations, Nathan said flatly. There was a retaliation complaint against someone who tried to sabotage me. The investigation cleared me completely. But there was a relationship, Rachel said. With your boss. Nathan's jaw tightened. Former boss. I got promoted. We don't have a direct reporting relationship anymore, and yes, we're dating. We filed all the appropriate paperwork. Everything is above board. Rachel was quiet for a moment, studying him. Are you happy? The question caught Nathan off guard. What? Are you happy? Rachel repeated. With her. With this job. With how things are going. Nathan thought about dancing in Miranda's living room, about her threatening to quit if the company came after him, about waking up this morning feeling like he belonged somewhere. Yeah, Nathan said. I am. Rachel nodded slowly. I can see it. Lily was right. You do smile more. Is that why you're here? Nathan asked. To check if I'm happy? I'm here because my lawyer scared me, Rachel admitted. She made it sound like you were in trouble, like maybe Lily would be better off with Marcus and me full time. Nathan felt ice flood his veins. Rachel, I'm not going to do it, Rachel interrupted. I'm not going to take her from you. That's what I came to say. My lawyer is wrong. You're a good father, maybe not conventional, maybe too willing to take risks, but you show up. You always show up. Nathan had to sit down. The relief was so intense it made his knees weak. But I need you to promise me something, Rachel continued. If things get complicated with this woman, if there's any chance it could affect your job, your stability, you tell me. You don't hide it and hope it works out. I can promise that, Nathan said. And I want to meet her, Rachel added, before Lily does. I need to know she's good enough for you. Nathan almost smiled at that. Good enough for me? You heard me, Rachel said. I know I wasn't. I know I chose safe over you, but whoever you're with now should choose you, both parts, the stability and the risk. It was the most honest conversation they'd had since the divorce, maybe ever. Her name is Miranda, Nathan said, and she's terrifying and brilliant, and she plays guitar when she thinks no one's listening. Rachel's lips twitched. Sounds like she's the opposite of me. She's different, Nathan said carefully, but that's not a bad thing. Rachel nodded, slinging her purse over her shoulder. Bring her to dinner, next Saturday. Marcus wants to meet her too. That sounds like a nightmare, Nathan said. Probably, Rachel agreed, but it's happening anyway. She called Lily out, hugged her goodbye, and left. Nathan stood in his kitchen, trying to process what had just happened. His ex-wife had just given him her blessing to move on, had acknowledged that he was a good father, had stopped using Lily as leverage. Lily emerged from her room, tablet in hand. So what did Mom want? To tell me something important, Nathan said, and to invite us to dinner next Saturday. Us? Lily's eyes widened. Does that mean? It means you're going to meet Miranda, Nathan said, if you still want to. Lily squealed and threw her arms around Nathan's waist. I want to. When? Can it be today? Can she come over? Slow down, Nathan laughed. Let me ask her first. He texted Miranda while Lily bounced around the apartment, already planning what she'd wear and what questions she'd ask and whether they should make dinner or order pizza. Lily wants to meet you. Also, my ex-wife wants to meet you next Saturday. I understand if you want to run screaming. Miranda's response came immediately. I don't run. What time? Nathan felt something settle in his chest, something that felt dangerously close to hope. The week leading up to Saturday was chaos. The Riverside project hit a snag when the electrical subcontractor discovered wiring that didn't match the blueprints. Nathan spent 16 hours on site, coordinating with inspectors and engineers, while his team worked double shifts to get things back on track. Thursday night, he called Miranda from the construction site. Tell me again why I wanted this job, he said, exhaustion making his voice rough. Because you're good at it, Miranda said. Because it matters. Because you don't walk away when things get hard. I'm starting to reconsider that last part, Nathan said. No, you're not, Miranda said. You're just tired. Go home. Sleep. Let your team handle tonight's shift. I can't just leave, Nathan protested. Nathan, Miranda's voice had that executive edge that meant she wasn't arguing. You hired good people. You trained them. You gave them clear instructions. Now trust them to do their jobs. Nathan looked around at his team, Marcus running calculations with Jennifer, Sarah coordinating with the inspectors, everyone moving with purpose and efficiency. When did you get so wise? Nathan asked. I've always been this wise, Miranda said. You're just finally listening. Nathan went home, slept for 10 hours straight, woke up to 17 texts updating him on the night shift's progress, all positive. The wiring issue was fixed. They'd made up for lost time. The project was back on schedule. Friday afternoon, Nathan picked Lily up from school early and took her shopping for something to wear to dinner. She tried on 6 different outfits, rejecting each one for increasingly elaborate reasons. This one makes me look like a baby, she said about a dress with flowers. You are a baby, Nathan teased. You're 9. I'm almost 10, Lily corrected, and I need to look mature. First impressions matter. Nathan recognized his own words coming back to him and had to hide his smile. They settled on dark jeans and a sweater that Lily declared made her look sophisticated but approachable. Nathan didn't ask where she'd learned those words. Saturday arrived too fast. Nathan changed clothes 3 times before Lily knocked on his bedroom door. Dad, you look fine, she said. Stop being weird. I'm not being weird, Nathan said. You're being super weird, Lily said. You really like her, don't you? Nathan crouched down to Lily's level. I do. But I need you to know something. You come first, always. If you don't like her, if you're uncomfortable, if anything feels wrong, you tell me, okay? Lily nodded seriously. Okay. But Dad? Yeah? I think I'm gonna like her, Lily said, because she makes you happy, and you deserve to be happy. Nathan pulled her into a hug, this wise, fierce little person who somehow knew exactly what he needed to hear. They picked Miranda up at 6. She answered the door in dark jeans and a cream-colored sweater, her hair pulled back simply. She'd dressed down deliberately, Nathan realized, making herself less intimidating for Lily. You must be Lily, Miranda said, crouching to Lily's eye level just like Nathan had. Your dad talks about you all the time. Good things or embarrassing things? Lily asked. Both, Miranda said honestly. Mostly good. Some embarrassing, like how you convinced him to let you get a hamster by presenting a PowerPoint presentation. Lily's eyes widened. He told you about that? He was very impressed, Miranda said. Said it was better than most business proposals he's seen. Lily beamed. Just like that, Miranda had won her over. The drive to Rachel's house was filled with Lily's chatter. She asked Miranda about her job, her apartment, whether she liked dogs or cats better, what her favorite book was, and approximately 50 other questions. Miranda answered each one thoughtfully, never talking down to Lily, treating her questions as seriously as she'd treat a colleague's. Nathan watched them in the rearview mirror and felt his chest tighten with something that might have been love or might have been terror. Probably both. Rachel's house was exactly as Nathan remembered, perfectly landscaped, perfectly maintained, perfect in that way that had always made him feel slightly inadequate. Marcus answered the door with a warm smile and a firm handshake for Miranda. Nathan's told us a lot about you, Marcus said. No, he hasn't, Rachel called from the kitchen. He's told us almost nothing. That's why we're having this dinner. Rachel appeared, wiping her hands on a towel, and Nathan watched as the 2 most important women in his life sized each other up. Rachel in her expensive casual wear, and Miranda in her deliberately understated outfit, both of them brilliant, both of them strong, both of them capable of destroying him if they wanted to. Miranda, Rachel said, extending her hand, thank you for coming. Thank you for inviting me, Miranda said. I know this situation is unconventional. Unconventional is one word for it, Rachel said, but she was almost smiling. Dinner was surprisingly easy. Marcus turned out to be genuinely kind, asking Miranda about her work with real interest. Rachel watched Nathan and Miranda together with an expression Nathan couldn't quite read, and Lily dominated the conversation, telling stories about school and her hamster and the science project she was planning. I'm going to build a volcano, Lily announced, a big one, with real lava. Not real lava, Nathan interjected. We discussed this. Fake lava that looks real, Lily amended. Dad says I need to learn the difference between ambition and safety violations. Miranda laughed. Your dad is very wise about safety violations. Is that how you met? Rachel asked. At work? Yes, Miranda said. Nathan reported some serious safety issues on a project I was overseeing. Most people would have looked the other way. He didn't. That sounds like Nathan, Rachel said quietly. He's never been good at looking the other way. After dinner, Marcus took Lily to show her his telescope in the backyard, leaving Nathan, Miranda, and Rachel alone in the living room. The silence stretched uncomfortably. Finally, Rachel spoke. I need to ask you something, and I need you to be honest. Miranda straightened. Okay. Are you using Nathan? Rachel asked bluntly. For convenience or companionship, or because it's exciting to date someone outside your usual circles? Rachel, Nathan started. No, Miranda interrupted. It's a fair question. She looked directly at Rachel. I filed relationship disclosure paperwork with HR 3 days before Nathan ever told me how he felt. I risked my professional reputation to protect him during an investigation, and I threatened to resign if the company tried to punish him for someone else's retaliation. Rachel's eyebrows rose. I'm not using him, Miranda continued. I'm all in, completely, even though it's complicated and messy and there are no guarantees because Nathan is worth the risk. Rachel studied her for a long moment, then she nodded. Good, because if you hurt him, I'll make your life very difficult. Understood, Miranda said. Nathan looked between them, feeling like he'd just witnessed some kind of treaty negotiation. Can I ask you something now? Miranda said to Rachel. Sure, Rachel said, surprised. Why did you really invite me here? Miranda asked. It wasn't just to threaten me. Rachel glanced at Nathan, then back to Miranda. Because Nathan has spent the last 3 years putting everyone else first. Lily, his job, even me, making sure our co-parenting relationship stayed stable. And I wanted to make sure that whoever he's with now puts him first sometimes too. I try, Miranda said quietly. He makes it difficult. Rachel laughed. He does, doesn't he? Always taking care of everyone else? Someone has to take care of him, Miranda said. Yeah, Rachel said, something softening in her expression. Someone does. They left an hour later, Lily falling asleep in the back seat before they'd even reached the highway. Nathan glanced at Miranda in the passenger seat. That went better than expected, he said. Your ex-wife threatened me, Miranda pointed out. She threatened you because she cares, Nathan said. In her way. I know, Miranda said. It's actually kind of nice, knowing you have people looking out for you. Nathan reached over and took her hand. You have people looking out for you too. Now. Miranda squeezed his fingers. I'm starting to believe that. They drove in comfortable silence, the city lights streaking past. When they reached Miranda's building, she turned to Nathan before getting out. Thank you, she said, for tonight, for introducing me to Lily, for letting me into this part of your life. Thank you for not running when you saw how complicated it is, Nathan said. I told you, Miranda said. I don't run. She kissed him softly, then headed inside. Nathan watched her go, then looked in the rearview mirror at Lily, still asleep in the back seat. His phone buzzed, a text from Miranda. Lily's wonderful. You're doing an amazing job with her. Nathan typed back, She likes you too. She told me on the way to your place that she wasn't going to karate chop you after all. High praise, Miranda responded. Nathan smiled and started the drive home, feeling like maybe all the pieces of his life were finally starting to fit together. The next few weeks fell into a rhythm. Nathan worked brutal hours on Riverside, slowly bringing the project back from the edge of disaster. His team started to gel, trust building through shared late nights and small victories. The neighborhood association gradually warmed to him, appreciating his transparency and follow-through. Miranda worked her own impossible schedule, but they carved out time together, coffee before site meetings, dinners at her place when Lily was with Rachel, stolen moments in between the chaos of their lives. 3 weeks after the dinner at Rachel's house, Nathan got a call from Harrison. Cole, my office, now. Nathan's stomach dropped. That tone never meant anything good. He found Harrison standing at his window, looking out at the city. The Riverside construction site was visible from here, cranes moving against the gray sky. You've been on Riverside for 6 weeks, Harrison said without turning around. Yes, sir, Nathan said. We're 2 weeks ahead of schedule, Harrison continued, under budget. The neighborhood association sent me a letter praising our community engagement. The team morale reports are the highest they've been in a year. Nathan waited, unsure where this was going. Harrison finally turned around. How did you do it? I listened, Nathan said simply. To the team, to the community, to what wasn't working. Then I fixed it. That's it? Harrison asked. You just listened? I also worked my ass off, Nathan admitted. And I had a good team. They did the hard part. Harrison nodded slowly. Miranda Hale told me you'd say something like that. She said you'd deflect credit to your team. Nathan's pulse quickened at Miranda's name. She was right. She usually is, Harrison said. He pulled out a folder from his desk. We have another problem project, the East Side development. Bigger than Riverside, more complicated. Previous PM quit last month. It's hemorrhaging money and we're 3 months behind schedule. Nathan's throat went dry. Sir, I'm not asking you to take it, Harrison interrupted. I'm telling you that you've earned the right to say no. You've got Riverside in good shape. You could ride that success for years. Take the safe path. Nathan thought about safety, about stability, about all the years he'd chosen the careful route because he had Lily to protect. Then he thought about what Miranda had said, about leading with his heart, about not apologizing for caring too much. What's the timeline? Nathan asked. Harrison smiled. 6 months to get it back on track. If you can do it, there's a director position waiting. Your own division. Real authority. I'll need to talk to Lily, Nathan said. And Miranda. This affects them too. Take the weekend, Harrison said. Let me know Monday. Nathan called Miranda from the parking lot. They offered me another project, he said. Bigger than Riverside. It could be a disaster. Or it could be my career-making move. What do you want to do? Miranda asked. I don't know, Nathan admitted. The safe choice is to say no, stay with Riverside, coast. But you're not going to coast, Miranda said. It wasn't a question. No, Nathan said. I'm not. But I need to know if you're okay with that, with more late nights and stress and me being distracted. Nathan, Miranda said gently, I fell for you because you don't take the easy path. Because you see something that needs fixing and you fix it. Don't change that for me. What if I fail? Nathan asked. Then you fail spectacularly, Miranda said, and I'll be there to help you figure out what's next. That night, Nathan talked to Lily over pizza at their favorite place. They want me to take on another big project, he said. It would mean more work, more time away, but also more opportunity. Lily was quiet for a moment, carefully picking pepperoni off her slice. Will you still make it to my science fair? Yes, Nathan said without hesitation. And my birthday? Always, Nathan said. And parent-teacher conferences? I'll be there, Nathan promised. Lily nodded. Then you should do it. You're really good at fixing things, Dad. You fixed our apartment when the sink broke. You fixed my bike when the chain fell off. You even kind of fixed things with Mom. Nathan's chest tightened. I don't know if I fixed things with Mom. You made it better, Lily said, so we don't fight as much. That's fixing. Out of the mouths of 9-year-olds. So you're okay with it? Nathan asked. Even if it means I'm busier? I'm okay with it, Lily said, as long as you still make time for the important stuff. You're the important stuff, Nathan said. I know, Lily said seriously, but Miranda's important too now, and your job. You have to make time for all of it. Nathan wondered when his daughter had gotten so wise. Monday morning, Nathan walked into Harrison's office and accepted the East Side project. The paperwork was signed by noon. By 2 p.m., he was in a conference room with 15 new people looking at him with varying degrees of skepticism and hope. Nathan took a breath and began the same way he had with Riverside. This project is a mess, he said, and I need your help to fix it. That night, exhausted and exhilarated, Nathan met Miranda at her apartment. She opened the door, already smiling. You took it, she said. How did you know? Nathan asked. Because you have that look, Miranda said. The one you get when you're about to do something terrifying and necessary. Nathan pulled her close, breathing in the scent of her perfume, the warmth of her presence. I'm scared, he admitted. Good, Miranda said, echoing what she'd told him months ago. That means you're paying attention. They stood in her doorway, holding each other, two people who'd learned that the scariest choices were often the right ones. Thank you, Nathan said. For what? Miranda asked. For not letting me play it safe, Nathan said. For believing I could do this. Miranda pulled back to look at him. Nathan Cole, you've never played it safe in your life. You just convinced yourself you were. But I see you. All of you. The part that raises an amazing daughter, and the part that takes on impossible projects, and the part that walked into my office 6 months ago to tell the truth, even though it could have cost you everything. I love you, Nathan said. The words came out before he'd planned them, before he'd thought about whether it was too soon or too much. Miranda's eyes widened. Then she smiled, soft and genuine and completely unguarded. I love you too, she said. I have for a while now. I was just waiting for you to catch up. Nathan kissed her, and it felt like coming home, like finding something he didn't know he'd been looking for, like all the risks and complications and impossible choices had led him exactly where he needed to be. Later, lying in Miranda's bed with the city lights painting patterns on the ceiling, Nathan thought about how much his life had changed in 6 months, how he'd gone from carefully managing every risk to choosing the scary thing because it was also the right thing. What are you thinking about? Miranda asked sleepily. About that dare, Nathan said. 6 months ago. If Derek hadn't made that bet, would we be here? Miranda was quiet for a moment. I don't know. Maybe we would have taken longer to figure it out, but I think we would have gotten here eventually. Yeah? Nathan asked. Yeah, Miranda said, because some things are inevitable, like gravity, or me falling for a man who won't compromise his principles even when it would be easier. Nathan pulled her closer. I'm glad I didn't take the easy path. Me too, Miranda whispered. And for the first time in years, Nathan stopped worrying about what came next, stopped planning for every possible disaster, just existed in the moment with someone who loved him, not despite his complications, but because of them. The future would come with its own challenges. The East Side Project would test him in ways he couldn't imagine. Lily would grow up and face her own complicated choices. The relationship with Miranda would require constant navigation and compromise. But tonight, none of that mattered. Tonight, Nathan Cole, single father, project manager, man who'd spent years playing it safe, finally let himself believe in something uncertain, and it felt like freedom. The East Side Project was everything Harrison had warned it would be, and worse. Nathan spent the first month just understanding the scope of the disaster. The previous project manager had left behind incomplete files, contradictory budgets, and a team so demoralized they barely spoke to each other. The site itself was a bureaucratic nightmare. Zoning issues, permit delays, and a structural engineer who'd quit mid-assessment, citing irreconcilable differences with the architectural plans. Nathan worked 16-hour days for 3 weeks straight, arriving home after Lily was asleep and leaving before she woke up. He kept his promise about the important things, made her science fair, showed up for her karate class demonstration, called her every night even when he could barely keep his eyes open. But the exhaustion was catching up to him. Miranda noticed first. She found him in his temporary site office on a Thursday night at 11, staring at spreadsheets that had stopped making sense 2 hours ago. When did you last eat? She asked from the doorway. Nathan looked up, surprised to see her. You're supposed to be in Seattle, the Harbor Project presentation. Finished early, Miranda said, and you didn't answer my question. Nathan tried to remember. Lunch, maybe? It's 11 p.m., Nathan. That was 12 hours ago. I had coffee, Nathan offered weakly. Miranda crossed the office and physically closed his laptop. We're leaving, now. I can't. I have to figure out why these numbers don't match. The numbers will still be wrong tomorrow, Miranda said, but you'll actually be able to think clearly enough to fix them. Nathan wanted to argue, but the truth was he could barely see straight anymore. He let Miranda lead him to her car, too tired to protest. She drove them to an all-night diner, the kind of place with cracked vinyl booths and coffee that tasted like it had been sitting on the burner since the previous administration. Miranda ordered him eggs, toast, hash browns, and orange juice without asking what he wanted. Eat, she commanded. Nathan ate. He hadn't realized how hungry he was until food was in front of him. Miranda watched him with an expression caught between concern and frustration. "You can't keep doing this," she said finally. "Doing what?" Nathan asked around a mouthful of eggs. "Running yourself into the ground," Miranda said. "You're going to burn out, Nathan. And then what? You'll lose the project, lose your credibility, and prove everyone who doubted you right." Nathan set down his fork. "I know what I'm doing." "Do you?" Miranda asked. "Because from where I'm sitting, you're making the same mistakes I made 10 years ago, working yourself to death to prove you belong, sacrificing everything else because you think that's what success looks like." "This is different," Nathan said. "How?" Miranda challenged. "How is it different?" Nathan opened his mouth to answer and realized he didn't have one. She was right. He was destroying himself trying to save a project that might not be salvageable, and in the process, he was losing sight of why he'd taken it in the first place. "I don't know how to do this any other way," Nathan admitted quietly. "I don't know how to care less." Miranda's expression softened. "I'm not asking you to care less. I'm asking you to trust your team more, to delegate, to remember that you hired good people specifically so you wouldn't have to do everything yourself." "What if they fail?" Nathan asked. "Then you fail together," Miranda said. "But you're not failing, Nathan. You're drowning, and you're too stubborn to ask for help." Nathan stared down at his plate. The eggs had gone cold, but he kept eating them anyway, needing something to do with his hands. "I'm scared," he said finally. "This project is bigger than anything I've ever done. If I screw this up—" "You won't screw it up," Miranda interrupted. "But even if you did, it wouldn't change how I feel about you, or how Lily feels about you, or your worth as a person." Nathan looked up at her. "How do you always know what to say?" "I don't," Miranda said. "Half the time I'm terrified I'm going to say the wrong thing and you'll realize you could do better. But I show up anyway. Just like I need you to show up for yourself." Nathan reached across the table and took her hand. "I'm sorry for disappearing these past few weeks." "Don't apologize," Miranda said. "Just come back. To me, to Lily, to yourself." They sat in that diner until 1 in the morning, talking through Nathan's plans for Eastside, identifying tasks he could delegate and areas where he was micromanaging out of fear rather than necessity. Miranda didn't have all the answers, but she asked the right questions, pushing Nathan to think strategically instead of just working harder. When they finally left, Nathan felt lighter than he had in weeks. The next morning, he walked into the Eastside project meeting and did something he'd never done before. He admitted he needed help. "I've been trying to do too much," Nathan told his team of 15, "trying to solve every problem myself because I thought that's what a good project manager did. But I was wrong. I hired you because you're experts in your fields. So starting today, I'm going to trust you to do your jobs." He spent the next 2 hours redistributing responsibilities, identifying team leads for each major component, and setting up a communication structure that didn't require everything to flow through him. His team looked skeptical at first, then cautiously optimistic, then actually engaged. By the end of the meeting, Nathan had reduced his direct oversight by 60% and increased his team's ownership by the same amount. Sarah from Permits caught him after the meeting. "That took guts," she said, "admitting you can't do it all." "Took me too long to figure it out," Nathan admitted. "Better late than never," Sarah said. "For what it's worth, this is the first time I've actually believed this project might succeed." The change wasn't immediate, but it was real. Over the next month, the Eastside project slowly began to stabilize. Problems still arose. A concrete supplier went bankrupt, forcing them to find a replacement at higher cost, and the city inspector found code violations that required expensive fixes. But Nathan's team handled them efficiently, only escalating to him when absolutely necessary. Nathan started getting home at reasonable hours. He had dinner with Lily 3 times a week. He spent weekends with Miranda, sometimes working on their respective projects, but mostly just being together. Life started to feel sustainable again. Then Lily's 10th birthday arrived. Nathan had been planning it for months, a small party at their apartment with her closest friends, pizza, and a cake shaped like the solar system she'd been obsessed with since her science fair project. Miranda had offered to help, and Nathan had gratefully accepted, realizing with some surprise that he wanted her there. Not as a guest, but as someone who belonged. The morning of the party, Nathan's phone rang. Harrison. Cole, we have a problem. The East Side inspection is scheduled for Monday. The inspector just moved it up to tomorrow, Saturday. We're not ready. Nathan felt his stomach drop. Saturday. Lily's birthday. How not ready are we? Nathan asked, already mentally calculating what could be done in 24 hours. Foundation's fine, structural's fine, but the electrical inspection is incomplete, and we're missing 3 permit signatures from the city, Harrison said. If we fail this inspection, we lose our timeline. The investors will pull out. Nathan closed his eyes. 3 months of brutal work, all potentially wasted because of a scheduling change. I'll handle it, Nathan said. I know you will, Harrison said. That's why I called you. Nathan hung up and stared at his phone. He could do this. He could call his team, mobilize everyone, spend the next 18 hours on site making sure everything was perfect for the inspection. He'd done it before. He could do it again. But it was Lily's birthday. He'd promised her. He'd promised he'd be there for the important things. Nathan called Marcus Rodriguez, his electrical lead. Marcus, I need you to handle the Saturday inspection, Nathan said. The electrical review and permit chase. Can you do it? There was a pause. You're not coming? It's my daughter's 10th birthday, Nathan said. I promised I'd be there, and I trust you to handle this. Another pause, longer this time. Yeah, Marcus said finally. Yeah, I can handle it. But Cole, this is a big deal. If I screw up, you won't, Nathan interrupted. You're the best electrical engineer I've worked with. You know that system better than I do. Run it the way you would if I wasn't available to second-guess you. Okay, Marcus said. Okay, I got this. Nathan hung up and felt something shift in his chest. Fear, maybe. Or trust. Probably both. Miranda arrived an hour before the party, carrying 2 bags of decorations and wearing jeans and a sweater that made her look completely different from the executive Nathan saw in board meetings. You look nervous, she observed, unpacking streamers. I delegated the Saturday inspection, Nathan said, for East Side. The most important inspection of the project. And I'm not going to be there. Miranda stopped unpacking and looked at him. How do you feel about that? Terrified, Nathan admitted. But also like it was the right choice. Is that crazy? That's growth, Miranda said. She crossed the kitchen and wrapped her arms around him. I'm proud of you. I haven't done anything yet, Nathan said. Marcus might completely mess it up. He won't, Miranda said. And even if he did, you'd figure it out. But he won't, because you hired him for exactly this kind of situation. Lily burst into this kitchen, already dressed in her party outfit, a dress she'd picked out herself, covered in stars and planets. Miranda, she squealed, launching herself at Miranda's legs. You came early. Can you help me set up the solar system model? Dad's good at building things, but bad at making them pretty. I'm standing right here, Nathan protested. It's true, though, Lily said seriously. You made my volcano look like a gray blob. Miranda laughed. I'll help. Show me what you're thinking. Nathan watched them disappear into Lily's room, their voices blending as they discussed the proper placement of Jupiter's moons and whether Pluto should be included despite its demotion from planet status. Something warm settled in his chest, something that felt dangerously close to complete happiness. The party was chaotic in the best way. 8 10-year-olds running around his small apartment, arguing about astronomy and eating their weight in pizza. Miranda fit seamlessly into the chaos, helping with games and refereeing disputes with the same calm competence she brought to million-dollar projects. Rachel and Marcus showed up with a gift, and Nathan watched his ex-wife and his girlfriend make small talk about Lily's school performance with surreal normality. 6 months ago, this scene would have been impossible. Now it felt almost natural. When it came time for cake, Lily stood in front of her solar system creation, complete with fondant planets that Miranda had somehow made look professional, and made a wish. She blew out all 10 candles in one breath, and her friends cheered. Later, after the guests had left and Lily was crashed on the couch in a sugar coma, Miranda helped Nathan clean up the wreckage. Thank you, Nathan said, scraping frosting off a plate. For today. For being here. Where else would I be? Miranda asked. I don't know, Nathan said, but a year ago I couldn't have imagined this. You, here, helping clean up after my daughter's birthday party. It's so normal and so impossible at the same time. Miranda set down the garbage bag she was filling. Nathan, do you remember what I said about waiting for you to catch up? Yeah, Nathan said. I think you've caught up, Miranda said quietly. Actually, I think you've been here for a while. You just needed to believe it was real. Nathan crossed the kitchen and kissed her, soft and grateful and full of things he didn't have words for yet. His phone buzzed, a text from Marcus. Inspection passed, all electrical approved, permit signed. You picked the right day to trust us, boss. Nathan showed Miranda the text, and she smiled. See? Growth. I'm still terrified, Nathan admitted. Good, Miranda said for what felt like the 100th time. That means, I know, Nathan interrupted. It means I'm paying attention. They finished cleaning in comfortable silence, and when Miranda left, Nathan sat on the couch next to Lily, who was pretending to be asleep. I know you're awake, Nathan said. Lily's eyes opened. How'd you know? Because you snore when you're really asleep, Nathan said. Just like Miranda. We do not, Lily protested, sitting up. That's so rude, Dad. Nathan laughed and pulled her close. Did you have a good birthday? The best, Lily said. I really like Miranda, Dad. Like really, really like her. Yeah? Nathan asked. Yeah, Lily said. She's smart and funny, and she doesn't treat me like a baby, and she makes you happy, like really happy, not just pretend happy. Nathan recognized his earlier conversation with Lily coming full circle. What would you think, Nathan said carefully, if Miranda was around more, like a lot more, like part of our family more? Lily was quiet for a moment, processing. Like, would she live here? Maybe eventually, Nathan said. If that was something everyone wanted, but I'm not asking you to decide that now. I'm just asking if you'd be okay with the idea of her being a bigger part of our lives. Lily thought about it with the serious concentration she brought to all important decisions. Would she try to be my mom? No, Nathan said firmly. You have a mom. Rachel is your mom, and that won't change. Miranda would be something different, a partner. For both of us, in different ways. Like a bonus grown-up? Lily asked. Nathan smiled. Yeah, exactly like that. Then I'm okay with it, Lily said. But can we wait a little bit? I want to make sure it's not weird first. We can wait as long as you need, Nathan promised. Lily nodded, satisfied, and curled back into his side. They sat like that until she actually fell asleep, her breathing evening out into real sleep, not pretend. Nathan carried her to bed, tucked her in, and stood in her doorway watching her sleep the way he'd done since she was a baby. This fierce, brilliant, wise little person who somehow made him want to be better than he was. The next 3 months were a blur of controlled chaos. The East Side project continued to stabilize, hitting milestone after milestone. Nathan's team grew more confident, requiring less direct oversight and making more autonomous decisions. The neighborhood association embraced the development after Nathan personally attended 6 community meetings and actually implemented their suggestions about green space and traffic flow. The Riverside project, now handed off to another manager, received an industry award for community engagement and sustainable development. Harrison made a point of telling Nathan the award existed because of the foundation Nathan had built. You could have stayed with Riverside, Harrison said, ridden that success into an easy few years. But you took the harder path, again. Seems to be a pattern, Nathan said. It's a good pattern, Harrison said. The board noticed. There's talk of making your director position permanent, your own division, real authority to shape how we approach complex projects. Nathan let that sink in. His own division. The kind of stability he'd been chasing for years now within reach. There's a catch, Harrison added. The position would require relocation, Chicago office, better pay, better benefits. But it's not here. Nathan's stomach sank. Chicago? Think about it, Harrison said. You don't have to decide today, but the opportunity won't wait forever. That night, Nathan sat with Miranda on her apartment balcony, looking out at the city that had become home. Chicago, Miranda said. That's a big move. It's everything I've worked for, Nathan said. Stability, security, a chance to build something lasting. But, Miranda prompted, but Lily's here, Rachel's here. Her school, her friends, Her whole life is here, Nathan said. And you're here. Miranda was quiet for a long moment. What do you want, Nathan? Not what's best for Lily or what's safest or what makes the most sense. What do you want? Nathan thought about it, really thought about it. I want what I have right now, he said finally. This job, this city, you, Lily, the complicated, messy, imperfect life we've built. I don't want to start over somewhere else. Even if it means turning down a massive opportunity? Miranda asked. Even then, Nathan said, I've spent so long chasing the next thing, the safer thing, the thing that would finally make me feel secure. But I am secure. Right here. With you. Miranda took his hand. I was offered a position too last week, regional director for the West Coast operations, based in San Francisco. Nathan's heart stopped. What? I turned it down, Miranda said. Because everything I want is here, this city, this work, you, Lily, the complicated, messy, imperfect life we've built. Nathan stared at her. You turned it down? For me? For us, Miranda corrected. For what we're building together. Because some opportunities are worth taking and some are worth walking away from. Nathan pulled her close, burying his face in her hair. We're really doing this, aren't we? Choosing each other. Choosing to stay. Yeah, Miranda said. We really are. Nathan turned down the Chicago position the next day. Harrison took it better than expected. I figured, Harrison said, you've got roots here now, but the director position is still yours. We're opening a new division focused on community-centered development. It's yours if you want it. Nathan wanted it. The official announcement came a week later. Nathan Cole, Director of Community Development. His own division, his own team, his own vision for how to approach projects that balanced profit with genuine community benefit. The celebration dinner was at Miranda's apartment. Rachel and Marcus came, bringing Lily, who'd insisted on dressing up because Dad's fancy now. Harrison stopped by with a bottle of expensive whiskey that Nathan would probably never drink, but appreciated anyway. Even Sarah and Marcus from his teams showed up, toasting Nathan's success like it was their own. Because in many ways, it was. Lily cornered Nathan in the kitchen while he was refilling drinks. Dad, can I ask you something? Always, Nathan said. Are you going to marry Miranda? Nathan nearly dropped the pitcher of water he was holding. That's a pretty direct question, kiddo. Well, are you? Lily pressed. Because I think you should. She's really nice and she makes you happy, and she helped me with my math homework last week and didn't make me feel dumb when I got the fractions wrong. Nathan crouched down to Lily's level. If I did ask Miranda to marry me, and I'm not saying I will, I'm just saying would you be okay with that? I'd be really okay with that, Lily said seriously. I think she'd be good at being in our family. Yeah? Nathan asked. Yeah, Lily said. Plus then I could tell people at school I have a bonus mom who's basically a superhero in a business suit. Nathan laughed and hugged her. I love you, you know that? I know, Lily said. Love you too, Dad. That night, after everyone had left and Lily had fallen asleep in Miranda's guest room, Nathan and Miranda sat on the balcony watching the city lights. Lily asked me if I was going to marry you, Nathan said. Miranda went very still. What did you tell her? I told her I wasn't saying I would, Nathan said, but I didn't say I wouldn't. Very diplomatic, Miranda observed. I'm terrified, Nathan admitted, of asking, of the idea of forever, of screwing up something that's finally going right. Ooh, good, Miranda started to say. If you say, that means you're paying attention one more time, Nathan interrupted. I swear I'm going to throw you off this balcony. Miranda laughed. I was going to say good, because I'm terrified too. But I'm also ready. Whenever you are. No rush. Nathan reached into his pocket and pulled out a small box. Miranda's eyes widened. I bought this 3 weeks ago, Nathan said. The day after you told me you'd turned down San Francisco. I've been carrying it around waiting for the right moment. But I don't think there is a right moment. There's just this moment, us, here, now. He opened the box. The ring was simple, a single diamond on a platinum band, elegant without being ostentatious. Exactly Miranda's style. Miranda Hale, Nathan said. You filed paperwork 3 days before I had the courage to tell you how I felt. You threatened to quit your job to protect me. You showed up at a construction site at midnight to make sure I was eating. You helped my daughter build a solar system cake and didn't even complain when she insisted Pluto had to be included. Miranda was crying now, silent tears streaming down her face. You make me braver, Nathan continued. You make me believe I deserve good things. You make me want to choose the scary path because you're walking it with me. So I'm asking, will you marry me? Will you choose this messy, complicated, imperfect life with me and Lily? Will you be my partner in all the ways that matter? Yes, Miranda said, her voice breaking. Yes, absolutely yes. Nathan slid the ring onto her finger with shaking hands, and Miranda pulled him into a kiss that tasted like salt and joy, and the future they were choosing together. When they finally broke apart, Miranda was laughing and crying at the same time. We're really doing this, she said, getting married, building a life together. We're really doing this, Nathan confirmed. Are you terrified? Absolutely, Miranda said. You? Completely, Nathan said. But I'm also really, really happy. They sat on the balcony until dawn, making plans and dismissing them, talking about the future and the present, being together in the way they'd learned to be, honest, vulnerable, choosing each other with full knowledge of the risks. 3 months later, they got married in a small ceremony at the Botanical Gardens. Lily was the flower girl, wearing a dress covered in stars and carrying a bouquet of lilies that Miranda had specifically requested. Rachel and Marcus sat in the front row, genuinely happy for them. Harrison gave a toast about Nathan being the most stubborn person he'd ever met, but also the most honest. Miranda wore a simple white dress and carried wildflowers. Nathan wore the suit Lily had helped him pick out, the one she'd declared made him look like a real grown-up. When it came time for vows, Nathan spoke first. I was terrified of you, he said, making everyone laugh. You were brilliant and powerful and completely out of my league. But you saw something in me I didn't see in myself. You saw someone worth taking a risk for, someone worth filing paperwork for, someone worth showing up for again and again. He took Miranda's hands. I promise to keep showing up. For you, for Lily, for us. I promise to choose the scary thing when it's also the right thing. I promise to trust you when I'm terrified and to be worthy of the trust you've placed in me. I promise to love you exactly as you are. The executive, the guitar player, the woman who makes bad jokes at midnight and falls asleep on my shoulder pretending she doesn't snore. Miranda was crying again. I do not snore. You absolutely do, Lily called from her front row seat, making everyone laugh. Miranda wiped her eyes and composed herself. Nathan Cole, she said, you walked into my office 6 months ago and told me the truth even though it could have cost you everything. That's who you are. Someone who chooses integrity over safety. Someone who shows up for the people he loves. Someone who makes me want to be braver than I am. She squeezed his hands. I promise to keep choosing you every day, even when it's hard, especially when it's hard. I promise to be your partner in all the ways that matter. I promise to show up for Lily, to earn her trust, to be the bonus grown-up she deserves. I promise to love you exactly as you are. The single dad who's not really single anymore, the project manager who fixes impossible things, the man who leads with his heart even when it terrifies him. They exchanged rings. They kissed. Lily cheered louder than everyone else combined. At the reception, Nathan stood with Miranda, watching Lily dance with Rachel and Marcus, feeling the weight of everything that had brought them here. We did it, he said. We did, Miranda agreed. Against all odds, against conventional wisdom, we actually did it. No more terrifying choices? Nathan asked hopefully. Miranda laughed. Oh, there will definitely be more terrifying choices. But we'll make them together. Good, Nathan said, pulling her close. Because I'm done running from things that scare me. Yeah? Miranda asked. Yeah, Nathan said. I'm choosing them instead, starting with you. They danced until the lights came on, surrounded by everyone who'd helped them get here. Rachel, who'd learned to let go. Harrison, who'd taken a chance on him. Marcus and Sarah and Jennifer, who'd trusted him when he was still learning to trust himself. Later, much later, Nathan, Miranda, and Lily stood outside the venue, looking up at stars that Lily could now name thanks to her birthday project that had become a full-blown astronomy obsession. "That's Jupiter," Lily said, pointing, "and that's Mars. And that cluster there? That's the Pleiades." "Show off," Nathan teased. "You're just jealous because I know more about space than you," Lily said. "She's got you there," Miranda said. Lily looked at both of them, her expression suddenly serious. "Is it weird if I call you Bonus Mom now, instead of just Miranda?" Miranda knelt down, her wedding dress pooling around her. "Is that what you want to call me?" "I think so," Lily said, "because you're not my mom, but you're family now, so Bonus Mom makes sense." "Then that's what I am," Miranda said, her voice thick with emotion. "You're Bonus Mom, and I'm honored to be that." Lily hugged her fiercely, and Nathan watched the two most important people in his life hold each other, feeling his chest tighten with overwhelming gratitude. 6 months ago, he'd been a single father afraid to want anything for himself, afraid that choosing happiness would cost him stability, afraid that leading with his heart would destroy everything he'd worked to protect. But he'd been wrong about what it meant to be safe. Safety wasn't avoiding risk. It was choosing people who'd catch you when you fell. It was building something strong enough to weather storms. It was trusting that the terrifying choices were often the right ones. Nathan Cole had stopped waiting outside his life. He'd stopped apologizing for wanting more. He'd stopped being afraid of the complicated, messy, imperfect future. Instead, he'd chosen it. Chosen Miranda. Chosen himself. Chosen the kind of happiness that required courage instead of caution. And for the first time in longer than he could remember, Nathan wasn't just surviving. He was living. Really, truly living. And it was absolutely terrifying and absolutely perfect.